So afternoon, after class, I go and I knock on his door.
And he finally comes to it and opens it. It's not fair to say that his countenance falls, but he clearly was expecting someone else. And so he sees you, and he goes very neutral. Theraline, what a surprise.
Good afternoon, Master Hospitaller. I was hoping to speak with you.
How long a conversation do you need?
Half an hour?
He touches his halo and says, fine, let's walk. And the two of you start walking. It is snowing, like very, very, very lightly. So I assume you're wearing a cloak. He gathers on a jacket to stay warm. And the two of you, the snow is very light. It's not an intense snow. It's just, it'd be drizzling if it was rain, but it's not.
I have a petition for you.
And what is that?
I can't imagine what you think of me.
You don't need to concern yourself with that.
I don't expect you to regret anything about the first time we met. And Lange offered to talk to you first to tell you I was coming, and I asked him not to. Because as much as I appreciate him mediating for me, he's done that enough. And I needed.
What do you need?
You work in the school hospital, and you fought for the realm in the past, haven't you?
Yes.
So you know how one thinks, how the realm works.
Please, proceed to your point.
If someone was talented and the realm didn't know, and then they found out, what would they do?
They would require her to, we have to choose a sex for this individual, so we'll choose female. They would require her to take the oath of the realm, and they would want her to be educated so that she would be able to do proper service for the realm, is what they would want.
Do you think they have that right?
I choose not to answer that question.
Please.
Who are you? I know. Tell you what, we'll be honest. Well, the two of us will walk honestly down this street. You may be a poor, wretched victim of a villainous shadow that slew your family, tormented you, and tricked you into serving its needs. You may be. And certainly that seems to be the opinion of everyone I know, from the elder hospitaller down to a couple of second-year students. I think there are other viable explanations. I don't know. I do know that my son is inclined to see the best in people. And I know that he is highly valued by his friends. And as such, if he sets his heart on someone, his friends will, for his sake, do likewise. However, he's my son, the one you tried to kill, or at least the one you intended to murder. The one who, as far as I can understand, talked you out of it. And I believe that I have to keep all possible explanations in front of me. And one of those explanations is that you are a very good manipulator. And that you have played all the right cards to wind your way into the heart of a bunch of young people whom I care greatly for, and many whom I love. It may be that you're pure as the driven snow. It may be that you're a black villain. So, help me out here. Who are you?
I've been doing my best to put that together. And when we met, I would agree with you that I was a villain. But the person who has tried the hardest to convince me otherwise is your son.
I know.
I didn't ask him to.
You didn't have to. He saw a young girl in desperate need who needed protection, and his heart went out to her, and he gave it, even before she had decided she wasn't going to murder him. Because that's who he is. That is not who I am.
He trusts you.
Yeah, he should. And I don't distrust him. But I know that we all can make mistakes.
I told him he had made a mistake. I've told him over and over. He doesn't.
And if you had told him anything else, he would not have trusted you. It doesn't change he would not have cared deeply for you. But you said the right things. You keep saying the right things. And it doesn't change my question. Who are you? And honestly, as we walk here, what do you want?
I want to be good. He told me that you're a good man. Everyone I have spoken to says you're a good man.
That good man picked you up and would have killed you.
You would have been right. You were right. But
I was angry. I was furious. And it doesn't matter whether or not I had right. My motive was wrong. That doesn't mean you're not a villain. It just means that I am a sinner. And I make mistakes. And sometimes, too often, I make them willfully. So don't tell me I'm a good man. In fact, I don't think you know me. So you don't need to tell me anything about myself.
I don't know you. I'm just saying what I've been told by others.
How is that relevant to who you are?
I don't know you.
Just assume I want the truth. You don't have to know me. Just tell me the truth.
Are you the type to sell someone who has the talent out to the realm? You know what I mean.
I am infinitely more concerned about your character than any supposed talents you fear you may have or the consequences thereto. I don't care if you can juggle 7 kittens. I don't care. And you seem to think that the great danger is that I'm going to drag you in front of a bunch of teachers and make you swear an oath. That's not my concern right now.
I'm a sinner. And I've been told this, and I've been told there's hope for this by your son. I'm in utter disbelief about everything that has happened here. I can't tell you who I am. I can only tell you what others have told me I could be. I was told for a long time that I could be a weapon. The shadow that attacked you, that I worked with for those years. It taught me and made me into a weapon. It taught me how to hurt. And I don't want to be that. I never thought I could be anything else, but since meeting everyone here, I think I have the capacity to be more, to do more.
What do you want to be?
I want to help.
How?
You, from what I know about hospitalars, what you do, I've felt what you can do. You can do what I do. I want you to teach me to do what you do. And I want you to teach me to be good.
If you want to be a hospitalar, let's just imagine, for the sake of amusement, that you had the capacity. Why not take the oath? What's to lose?
I don't want to be a hospitaler. I want to do what a hospitaler does.
That's being a hospitalar. The reason that Jean Gourmet is being pulled through 4, 5, 6 years of instruction is because, as you know, it is easy to kill. It is hard to make alive. It takes time, it takes study, it takes commitment. It's not some sort of magic secret that you've got to get a guru, a mentor to reveal to you so that you can suddenly start doing the good instead of the killing. It just takes hard work, line upon line, here a little, there a little.
Then teach me.
Why should I? There are teachers here. All you would have to do is take the oath, and they would teach you. Why do you ask me to teach you? Every other teacher in this university wants to teach you more than I do. Take the oath and every other teacher in this university will trust you more than I do.
When I agreed to be Meru's maid support, I did it because Lange asked me to. Now, I love Meru for her, and I would do it until my last breath anyway. But I did it because he asked me to. And when I asked him if you would teach me, he didn't say yes or no, but he did say even if you didn't, it was still well worth talking to you. And that knowing you would be a blessing to us both. And I don't know you, but I know him and he knows you. And if...
Answer one question for me. One. Yes or no? No, I'm not certain, I don't know. No weasel words.
Okay.
I want a yes or a no. And he seizes you.
I picture.
And at that moment, you feel him touch your song. And he says, I will know if you are lying. Are you, now or ever, going to betray Lange?
No. I would rather die.
It's cold. We should get something to eat.
Okay. Lange told me one time that your God is a storyteller. That everything that happens is his story and we're characters. He also told me that he cares, that he loves us. Why would he tell his story this way? Why would he send Lange away? Why would he kill my family? Why would he make the shadow do everything he did? Because everything I've heard about your God, I want to understand. I almost do, but why would he do that?
Don't answer this question. Not to me. What do you deserve? I can tell you that I deserve death and judgment and horror. I've earned it. And still day by day I do. But the point of the story that the storyteller is telling is a person. There are two persons and a third bound up with them that are awesomely in love because they each look at the other and truly, absolutely, perfectly know the other. And the other is truly and perfectly and absolutely amazingly wonderful beyond our imagination or ability to comprehend. One, as best as we understand it, a father, and the other, a son. Face to face, sharing living love between them. And the father wanted to show off how great, not the justice of his Son, but how great his love. Justice was easy, but the love is almost impossibly hard. And that love would be shown by the greatest, most excellent, most glorious of beings, setting his love on the least, smallest creature of dust that deserved only judgment, and be willing to even lay down his glory and everything to rescue her. I love my Son most when he images my Savior.
I've seen him do that.
The horrible things that happen to your family are truly horrible. And what you have walked through is a tiny view into hell. But at no time did the Son ask you to walk through anything that he did not first walk through in far greater depth than you can imagine. He is not the author of sin, but he is sovereign over it. And it serves the purpose to show his justice, his glory, and his mercy, and his grace, and his love. And it is the best way to have shown all these things. Do you trust Lange?
Yes.
Why?
Because,
Has he betrayed you?
no.
Has he shown any despite for you? Has he been impatient with you? Has he undermined you? Has he backstabbed you at all? Has he tried to murder you?
No. And when I did that,
He's easy to love.
but I'm not.
And that is the story.
I know.
Do you trust him?
Yes.
And that also is the story.
I see it.
I love him best when he images my Savior.
Every time he has told me about Jesus, he sounds like he's talking about himself. The things he says, I've seen him do it. And if your God is like him, but more.
He is a tiny reflection, a tiny image of the grand love and glory and majesty and wonder of our God. These things happen so that we might trust him. Because when we trust him in the darkest of times, that is when he gets the greatest glory. It is when we are the most lost, the most alone, and convinced that everyone in the world has abandoned us or doesn't trust us, that when we still have faith in him, anyway, he's the most glorified. But it doesn't change the fact that when we are weak and pathetic, when we betray him, when we fall short, when we chase after idols of our own invention, it is still his nature to come after us, to pursue us, and to take joy in saving the one lost lamb that has wandered in darkness. That's his pleasure. That's his joy. The enemy would destroy us, and it is our Savior's joy to rescue us from our sins, and he does. But trusting Lange's faith in God doesn't do you a bit of good.
I don't want Lange's faith.
You have to trust Jesus on your own. And by that, I'm not saying you can do that on your own strength, but you must do it for yourself by the strength he gives.
Okay.
And it means that you must profess him.
How do
It
I...
is not enough for a young man to hint and imply his love for a young lady. He must speak to her clearly and plainly. And it is not enough for the young lady to hem and haw and imply. She must answer plainly.
Have you talked to him recently?
Talk to who? I'm talking about the profession of faith. Talk to who?
Lange, we'll come back to that. Okay. What do I say?
Let's have dinner first. And by the end of their meal, he would have told her, I would like to start our relationship over again. If that is acceptable. And if it is, my name is Timaeus. You know my son. He would have circled back once that was over and asked, so earlier on, what did you mean?
Well,
He has told you.
Yeah. And I haven't. But I want to. And I told him I want to, and I couldn't. And he said he'd wait for me.
How old are you?
13.
He has time to wait.
I know what my roadblock is now, though. I don't know if it's a block anymore. May I?
May you what?
Can I tell him I love him? Yes.
Then yes. But it is going to be a while. Both of you need to grow more. It's going to be a few years before you can get married.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't worry.
And when he tells you that he loves you, my son is faithful. If you do not like him in that fashion, be honest with him. Let him know.
It's not going to be a problem.
Then be patient. The two of you aren't allowed to be alone together. Speaking as Lange's father, I am telling you the two of you are not allowed to be alone together. for your own.
The closer I can get, the more people make sense. Yeah. And obviously, don't want to show.
Not that I'm trying to push boundaries. What exactly constitutes alone? Just sometimes we like talk and it's not like a group setting talk. It's just,
In those circumstances, make sure that there is a third person who can at least observe the two of you physically from a sufficient distance. The third person does not have to be part of the conversation or even a eavesdropper. However, I will tell you, from your age on, there are a lot of temptations in this world that are very real and extraordinarily powerful. And the more that you love someone, the more extraordinarily powerful they become. My son is faithful. He is not the Son of God. There are limits of his. There are limits to his resistance. And so for both of you, it is best to not be caught in a circumstance where the enemy can use it against you.
Well, at the moment, I'm probably not going to see him in person for a while, so I will understand.
But you live in Wands. We have a good church in Wands. He says, I'd like to introduce you to the pastor, not as in, oh, I've never been to church before, but as in, this is a young lady who is ready to profess her faith in Jesus Christ. This needs to happen.
Hello, I'm not here to kill you. I would request not to be killed myself in turn.
I'll let him know you're coming.
no, I asked him not to tell him I was coming, but it was when was
you want to surprise him?
we did talk about this.
Well, do you want him surprised, or do you want the Home Alone movie traps set out?
Keep talking, I can hear you. I'm gonna
Oh
get a
my
drink
gosh.
here at this
Yes. Me too, actually.
An awkward moment when you ask a teenager who they are, and she goes, Any teenager, let alone a traumatized one.
Yeah, at least this is more civil than its equivalent scene in Babylon 5.
Right.
There's no physical torture.
Well, I mean, not yet.
Not yet, yeah. It can be right.
Theraline.exe has stopped working.
She's not, at least not currently chain linked to a wall.
Not at this time.
There's still time.
There's still time. The night is young.
For the good of the state.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Wow.
And I think that's a good place to end the scene. Even though it's not where you want to end it, probably.
Can I ask him one more question?
You can ask one more question.
Oh dear.
Not everything has to be on camera.
No. That's a great place to cut. But it's just like you're gonna keep me from Jesus for dinner.
Actually, in Timaeus' case, yes. You can have dinner, and he'll talk to you over dinner.
Okay, that's fine.
So.